Panda Anthem.
Ian, what's up?
Red Panda Anthem.
Red Panda, what's good?
Red Panda Anthem.
It's your boy.
Go ahead.
Oh, man.
On to my next girl because I'm done with my ex girl.
With that being said, let's go to questions if we can.
Yep.
Maybe get
Yes,
one or two
please.
questions before we wrap.
Hey, Jan.
Yes, perfect segue.
Yes,
How are you?
How are you doing, Janet?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Great. How are you?
Can't complain. I'm doing well. The earners and I are reading Trading in the Zone. And I think the market right now, this perfect book for what's going on. Talks a lot about your mental attitude and how analysis alone is not important, is not good enough. You really have to have a strong mental attitude and discipline. And great traders have a good attitude. So I think this has been really helpful for the earners going through it now. And I'll say too, I just got my first travel nurse under contract, the deposits and the leases signed. So I'm excited for that experience. And they're going to be here for the whole summer. So that's pretty cool.
And that's your Airbnb property? That's your Airbnb?
Yeah, so now I have 2 Airbnbs. But one of them I have a travel nurse in there the whole summer, and the other one I'm still Airbnb. But if I can get another travel nurse in there, I'll go with it. It's a little less than I would make on Airbnb every month. However, I just don't have to worry about it for a few months. In theory, I'm going to see what it's going to be like. But
are you scared? Are you a little nervous about Airbnbs getting cracked down? I think Boston actually had a crackdown, which is not too far from you, but there's a lot of talk. Are you nervous about the state of Airbnb right now? Being an Airbnb participant?
Not really, because I know I can have a travel nurse in here. And the person I just got in, he actually didn't want to pay as much as my rate is, but there's, I guess, a lack of enough travel nurse spots for them. So he's paying $500 more a month than he wanted to, but it is what it is. But also, yeah, exactly. So I'm not really that concerned about it. I mean, I can always rent out the units anyway. So I'll ride this till, I know for Rhode Island, we have to declare, I guess, or that's not the right word, but basically you have to let the state know by June 1st that you have an Airbnb. You have to register it. And I already went online a week ago or 2 weeks ago. It was not very intuitive. So I have to maybe call or figure it out because I need to register it by June 1st. That's the new law here in Rhode Island. But
yeah, quick note really quickly. Speaking of Airbnb, they're removing all their listings from China.
Airbnb?
Starting this summer, yeah.
I saw that too.
Yeah, they will be out of China.
Why are they leaving China?
Won't play it. I will send the article. I saw the headline. Yeah, they'll be leaving.
We better hope that the Chinese real estate bubble does not crack. You guys should go look at the number of ghost cities in China.
60 Minutes did an expose about that a while ago, and that was crazy. They built whole cities where nobody lives in them. It's crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
And then McDonald's left Russia.
Well,
82 stores.
There's a big difference between Russia and China.
I'm saying companies leaving, American companies leaving some of these countries.
Yeah. All right. Can we get some questions?
All right. Let's do that. Chandra, we're coming to you. Unmute yourself, please.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
Great. How are you?
How you doing?
Doing well. Thank you for taking my question. So here's the deal. So I recently moved and I had to dip into my emergency fund. And so I have about 4 months of savings left. But it took me so long to grow it. I live in New York. So the brokerage, the 3 months rent security took a nice chunk out. Mm-hmm. It took me so long to get there. I want to know, should I be reing up that money or should I try to invest to make it grow faster? Because I want to be smart. I don't have shiny ball syndrome. I keep my head down. I know what I want to do. I miss out on some things like Invest Fast because I'm nope, I got to stay focused. I got to stack my coins. But now I have to re-up. So what advice would you give me? Because I don't want to miss this opportunity for growth. But I also have to have an emergency fund too.
Well, we could definitely give you a ticket to InvestFest if you're interested in
That's my birthday week too. I'm August 2nd, Ian.
Hey, let's go.
Shout out to all the
That's
Leos.
amazing.
So if you're interested in coming to InvestFest, Janet, let's hook that up. If you might have plans already, but if you are interested, we can make that happen for sure.
I would appreciate that. Thank you.
But good question. So she's saying it took a long time for her just to build her safety net. We always talk about having a safety net and not investing your last dollar. But it is one of these things where it's like, what do you do if you actually want to invest money and you have a nice size chunk of change, but that chunk of change is more on the security side and you don't have anything outside of that. So what's some suggestions, or what do you guys just think about that? I have my 2 cents in as well, but
I mean, I feel like I've heard you answer this question a lot. It's like, I got money in my 401k. Should I take it out to invest in the stock market? Why don't you just go for it?
Really quickly, I would never do that. I'm just talking about my emergency fund.
Her savings account.
Actual savings.
She has money in a savings account, like her emergency fund. 6 months, I believe she said 6 months.
No, I only have 4 months left after taking the cut out for moving with the broker's fees and everything. Months. I live in Queens, New York. It's expensive.
Are you working?
Yes.
Okay. What stocks are you invested in?
I have Apple, Microsoft. I have NVIDIA. I have the Fidelity ETF, total stock ETF. And then I have some trash that I didn't know what I was doing, and it's just there.
We've all had some trash that we got to get rid of. Are you in Red Panda by chance?
I am not, sir.
Janet, can you grab her email and I'll put her in, and also give me your cash app.
Wow.
Triple header. I'll say this, and this is something that sometimes it's just no easy answer to it. I would say the only way to actually have more money at the end of the month, which leads to having more disposable income, which leads to having more capital to invest, which leads to, solving these type of issues. There's only 3 things that you can actually do. You can cut back on expenses, which that could become a little difficult, especially living in New York. You can find a way that you can make more money, or you can do a combination of both, which is actually the best scenario. So that's why we talk about like different, whether it's, you can always have, different jobs and things of nature, but entrepreneurship, we talk about, if not in New York, but like Toro, Airbnb, starting a business, entrepreneurship. Obviously, nothing is ever guaranteed, but I wouldn't feel comfortable telling you, if you only have 4 months, I wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable telling you to take money out of that to invest. And even if you did, it probably wouldn't make a tremendous difference. Yeah. I would say that it is a marathon, as Nip says, so it's not something that you feel like you have to miss out. There's going to be bear markets. There's going to be dips. There's going to be opportunities. It's not like this is going to be the only bear market, the only dip in the market. And consistently dollar cost averaging, you'll probably even make out better anyway. So I would say at the very least to try to find a way where maybe you can start dollar cost averaging. If you're not, maybe, a couple hundred, whatever you can afford. And then really, really focus on growing revenue.
Yeah.
That's something that a lot of times people focus on investing without having money to actually invest, where it's going to be a lot easier if you focus on going back to the focus out. Like we made a joke about that, but it is important to focus on one thing at a time. Focus on growing revenue. And whether that's another job, whether that's another, career services that you can add and getting certifications, things of that nature, whether that's starting a business, whether that's a side hustle, focus on growing revenue, focus on keeping your expenses low and keeping your debt low. And then once you kind of have that figured out, as far as the revenue, once you've grown your revenue, then you can invest. And I think that's kind of been our blueprint with Earn Your Leisure, where it's like on Monday, we only talking about investing. But then on Tuesday, when the episodes come out, that's broad range, a variety of shows, a variety type of show, talking about, different businesses and entrepreneurship, because it's done intentionally where it's like, they got to go hand in hand.
Rashad,
they have to go hand in hand.
Really quick, please. So I was in Ash Cash's mastermind group, and you guys came and talked about podcasting and things like that. So, you know, I got burnt out trying to, like, I had a Shopify store, I had a wine podcast, I had side hustles. Like, I was doing all the things. I kept my head down. I wasn't trying to buy Versace. I stay in my lane, like, but I just need assistance.
Yeah, I mean, can I be honest with you though?
Yeah.
Can I be honest with everyone here? That's the cost of freedom.
Yes.
Okay.
Like, so a lot of times when it seems like I may be moody, agitated, I'm tired.
Okay.
So that's why I posted my schedule today. I slept 3 hours, woke up at 4, worked on a show for the presentation to not play. Gotta adjust. Took Xander to school. Takes me 2 hours round trip to get home to Xander. Look at the market, come back, study, prepare. I'm sending them show notes 30 minutes before we go on. So your wine podcast, I'm going to tell you something I've never told anybody else publicly. Most podcasts needs to be shorter. Everybody copy long form because of Rogan or because they need advertising. If you can
Mine
sell
is
a
under
product,
15 minutes.
So do that, record in bulk and have your Shopify business and invest. Because if not, and everyone here needs a business. Because if not, you are susceptible to what another business chooses to do in your life. But that is the cost of freedom. Every time I see, guys heard me say it on the show. I don't know how you do it. You're tired. Flying to a city, come home, and now I'm starting to do it. And that's why I tell Dream Team, I'm like, well, I got to go raise the capital, build the relationships, be great at content, while being nice on camera, being kind to haters, still be a great dad, good person, try and be cute for Bay, get in shape, work on Invest Fest, and trade.
Got it.
My dad tell me all the time, there's a penalty. Or you can have it easy and not have the money that you want. And I've been there. But the stress that comes with not having the money that you want is not worth it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
It's not easy. It's not, I'll say that it's not easy. So when we talk about 08, like I really felt that way. Like I felt like I missed something. But that was like the edge that I needed to say, like, I don't want to miss this opportunity again. I don't want to miss this opportunity again. And so 2015, 2016, as you earn more income, and like I said, I was teaching Shy as a financial advisor. It was like, we got to we can invest what we can until you realize, all right, if I can do more, then I should. And so like, even I had this conversation last night with Mike, shout out to Mike. Like we were working and grinding and we weren't making any money from doing this. We were just staying focused on adding value, right? And the money that came from it was like, we sat down with each other like, all right, we're going to invest. We got to invest. This is the time. Here's the moment that we've been saying. Shout out to Jamal. He was part of that conversation too. This is our moment. Let's take advantage of our moment. And so the moments will come. It won't be like, hey, if I miss this time, I'll never get it again in life. It'll happen on your time when you're ready.
It's worth it though. Make sure you get sleep.
And it'll be worth it. It will be so worth it.
It'll actually happen. It won't happen on your time. It will happen on God's time. And
absolutely.
You have to trust the process. You have to trust the process, and you have to understand that God's time is different from our time.
Right.
So that's extremely important.
If I can give a testimony to that, I'll start trying to give you, and I sent the cash out to you too. But to give you perspective, I'll start working on investing in 2008. We didn't start doing the show to 2020. I tried to get 8 other people to do the show. They told me it was a stupid idea to target Black people around investing. They were Black. No one wants to hear you talking that vernacular.
I used to work in Morgan Stanley. I know those
So
types.
you know, like, so think about all that time. That's why I say if you're able to invest and trade, you don't need the capital. So master that craft while doing other things. Then the show went well. Rashad put out the post. Hey, podcast, first one up. I'm astonished at the number of you who come on here and don't say, hey, I got this. Troy Rashad Ian partner with me on it. You guys heard me ask Janet, Airbnb, hey, you need to okay, for entrepreneurs, how are you not asking 2,000 people a month minimum to do business with you? The revenue problem comes from an outreach problem. Most people are not outreaching enough. And then you see them with Ross and Diddy, and then people are like, man, they Hollywood as hell at that big ass estate with Ross. How could they? They asked. You don't see the work behind the scene. Like you have to. You guys are seeing me now. I'm doing my little dog and pony show. L.A., Dallas, right? Philly, Vegas. Got to shake hands, kiss babies. You have to ask. You have to ask. Going out. I don't want to party. I came to the party. What was that? In a Nike tracksuit. Everybody up Balenciaga, Versace. I got on a Nike tracksuit. Gotta come out. Time in. Kyrie called me. Hey, come to the crib. I didn't care what I had on. I asked, hey, what can I do to help you? Time.
That's it.
Shout out to you, Sandra, for having 4 months saved up because the average American doesn't even have $1,000.
At one point, I had like 20K, and then it dipped, and I had to move, and I was like,
But thank God you at the 20, because imagine what life would be like if you didn't.
Exactly.
Great.
Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Chandra.
And just drop your Cash App in the chat, please.
Yeah, I did, honey.
Oh, you did?
I'll
scroll up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shout out, Chandra.
And please drop the correct one so we don't send it to somebody in Idaho.
This that Red Panda Anthem.
Ian, what's up?
This that Red Panda Anthem.
Red Panda, what's
This
good?
that Red Panda Anthem. Whole clique going up. I know they can't stand it.